The year is 1797. London is buzzing with the Enlightenment, but a quiet letter sent by a man named John Freer is about to commit scientific heresy. He presents two stones to the Royal Academy, chipped, symmetrical, and sharp. They weren't found in a modern workshop. They were pulled from the deep ancient clay of Hoxne, Suffolk, resting alongside the bones of monsters that had long since vanished from the earth. Freer proposed a terrifying thought. These were weapons made by humans from a world beyond the present, a time before metal, before history, before even the Bible's timeline began. Fast forward over 2 centuries, and the mystery has only deepened. We call it the Acheulean handaxe. To the untrained eye, it's just a pointy hand rock, but to an architect of history, it is the most successful piece of technology ever designed. It was produced with a haunting, almost mechanical consistency for over 1.5 million years. Think about that. Our modern world has moved from the steam engine to the smartphone in less than 200 years. But for 50,000 generations, your ancestors looked at this design and decided it was perfect. They didn't change a single curve. But there is an anomaly. In the sun-scorched Acheulean basin of Kenya, we have found tens of thousands of these tools piled in the dirt like a prehistoric factory floor. It is the highest concentration of handaxes in the world. And yet, the humans who made them are missing. No burials, no hearths, just a sea of stone. Why did they make so many? How did a simple piece of flint unlock the biological paywall of the human brain? Tonight, we dive into the first technological revolution in Earth's history, a mystery written in stone that spans 3 continents and 1,000,000 years of silence. To understand why we became obsessed with these stones, we have to survive the nightmare that was the Pleistocene. 2 million years ago, the cradle of humanity was breaking. The lush, humid forests of East Africa were dying, replaced by an unforgiving, shifting landscape of open savannas. For our ancestors, like Homo erectus, this wasn't just a change of scenery, it was an energy crisis. We were a species trapped by our own biology. You see, the human brain is a metabolic glutton. Despite making up only 2% of your body weight, it demands a staggering 20% of your total energy. Anthropologists call this the expensive tissue hypothesis. Evolution is a zero-sum game. If you want a bigger, smarter brain, you have to pay for it by shrinking something else. And for us, that was our digestive system. Our guts became smaller, more efficient, but there was a catch. We could no longer survive on low-quality plants and leaves. We needed high-octane fuel. We needed fat. We needed meat. But the savanna was already occupied by the most efficient killing machines to ever walk the earth. We weren't the kings of this world. We were the desperate scavengers hiding in the shadows of giants. We shared the plains with Pachycrocuta, a giant hyena the size of a lioness with jaws that could snap a femur like a twig. We were hunted by Meganterion, a saber-toothed ambush predator that could drop a hominin in seconds. In this arena, speed was everything. If you found a carcass, you had minutes before the real predators arrived to reclaim it. We lacked the claws of a cat and the teeth of a hyena. We were biologically unarmed until we picked up a stone. The handaxe became our external teeth. It allowed us to bypass the biological limits of our bodies, slicing through tough hide and smashing into the marrow, the gold mine of prehistoric nutrition, long before the competition could smell the blood. This technology wasn't just a choice, it was the only way to fund the massive energy bill of the growing human mind. The secret to the Acheulean handaxe isn't strength, it's a mastery of physics that would make a modern engineer sweat. To create this tool, our ancestors had to exploit a phenomenon known as conchoidal fracture. Think of it like a bullet hitting a pane of thick glass. It doesn't just shatter, it leaves a clean, cone-shaped crater. In the world of stone tools, we call this the Hertzian Cone.
When a napper strikes a piece of rheojong or obsidian, they are sending a shock wave through an isotropic material, a substance that has no natural grain or cleavage planes to get in the way. If the blow is struck perfectly, the force radiates outward at a precise angle of approximately 136 degrees. But here's where the magic happens. A master napper doesn't hit the center of the stone. They strike the edge, forcing that cone to intersect with the free face of the rock. The result? A flake with an edge sharper than a surgical scalpel peels away. This marks the transition from Mode 1, the smash-and-grab Oldowan technique, to the sophisticated Mode 2 of the Acheulean. Making a handaxe is a three-dimensional chess game played in stone. It begins with decortication, using a hard hammerstone to strip away the cortex, or the weathered outer skin of the rock. Then comes the roughing out, where the napper visualizes a symmetrical teardrop hidden inside a chaotic lump of lava. But the final stage is where they truly separated themselves from the rest of the animal kingdom: soft hammer percussion. By using a piece of bone, antler, or wood, they could apply a more controlled, bending force. This allowed them to peel off long, thin flakes, thinning the tool without breaking it and creating that iconic razor-straight edge. They even used platform preparation, grinding the edge with a coarse stone to ensure the hammer didn't slip, a level of foresight and manual dexterity that implies a brain already rewiring itself for complex, multi-step planning. Despite this technical brilliance, the Acheulean tradition presents archaeologists with a disturbing enigma: the stagnation. For over 1 million years, while the climate fluctuated, while species rose and fell, the design of the handaxe stayed exactly the same. It is the longest-running brand in human history. Why didn't they innovate? Was their intelligence locked in a loop, or was this the ultimate form of cultural conservatism? Enter the Ghost Factory, Olorgesailie, Kenya. Imagine a landscape littered with so many handaxes that you can't walk without stepping on one. Tens of thousands of tools, crafted from 14 different types of local volcanic lava, scattered across an ancient lake bed. But here is the crisis. Where are the people? In over 80 years of digging, we have found only one tiny fragment of a Homo erectus skull at the site. This leads to the refuge hypothesis proposed by Dr. Rick Potts. The lake basin wasn't a home, it was a high-risk kill zone or butchery site. Hominins would rush into the lowlands to process a carcass, perhaps a giant hippo or elephant, working with feverish speed. But they knew the rules of the Pleistocene. Water attracts predators. As the sun set, the giant hyenas Pachycracuda and saber-toothed cats Meganterion would emerge. The handaxe people didn't stay to fight. They retreated to the safety of the highlands, leaving their heavy tools behind. It was cheaper to make a new tool tomorrow than to carry a 5-pound rock up a mountain while being hunted. This wasn't stagnation, it was a hyper-rational economic strategy for a species living on the edge of extinction. For decades, Western science held a biased view of the ancient world called the Movius line. Proposed in 1948, this theoretical border suggested while the advanced humans of Africa and Europe were making beautiful handaxes, the populations in East Asia were stuck in a primitive chopper tool culture. It was a technological iron curtain that implied a biological or cognitive inferiority in the East. But in the year 2000, the line was obliterated. In the Bose Basin of South China, archaeologists found what they weren't supposed to find: classic bifacial handaxes. And they weren't just any tools, they were dated by a cosmic event. Embedded in the same soil were tektites, glassy fragments from a massive meteor impact that occurred precisely 803,000 years ago. This wasn't a primitive backwater. This was a sophisticated population of Homo erectus who were every bit as technically capable as their cousins in Africa. So why were handaxes so rare in Asia? The answer might be bamboo. In a world where high-quality rheojong was scarce, hominins likely turned to the organic materials around them. A bamboo knife is as sharp as steel, but vanishes into the earth after a few seasons. The primitive Asian toolkits weren't a sign of cognitive failure, they were a sign of regional adaptation. The debunking of the Mobius line reminds us that human intelligence has never been a straight line. It's a fluid, opportunistic force that adapts to the materials at hand, whether it's volcanic rock or forest grass. We often think of the Stone Age as a time of beginning, but the handaxe was already a pinnacle. It represents the moment we externalized our biology. We stopped waiting for evolution to give us bigger teeth or claws. We designed them. This technological anchoring is what allowed us to survive 300,000 years of climate chaos in the Turkana Basin, turning droughts and floods into mere obstacles instead of endings. Look closely at your smartphone. At its heart is a silicon chip. Silicon, the very same element found in the flint and quartz our ancestors napped in the dirt 2 million